It's £8.50 a kilo versus £15, and you've got to use 60% less than you would of sake akari. Then that means every 9 kilos that you use of Nutramare is the equivalent of 15 kilos of sake, which makes it even cheaper. Welcome back to Japanese Koi, and today we are going to be talking about food, specifically Koi 360 by Nutramare. So, new food on the block, new kid on the block, seems to be taking the country by storm, so we're going to give it a go this season. What I will say is just a promise from how I will look at this. You're not going to get an update from me from 2 weeks of use saying it is the next best thing. I bought this food myself. I've got a couple of bags of it ready to go. I'm going to get some more. But what I will make the promise of is that I'm going to use it this season in my environment in terms of growth to see what it does and give you an honest answer at the end of it. Been using it for 2 weeks now, so I've seen the sort of initial impressions of it, and initial impressions are good, but it's just too soon for me to be able to tell you what it does in terms of the fish growth, the fish body, the fish structure and the fish colour, etc. So I'm going to give you the full growing season at 26 degrees and then let you know what I really think of it. This video I'm going to break it up into a couple of sections. So the first part, we're going to have a look at the Nutramare food. Don't open the first bag, just go through a couple of initial impressions and thoughts there compared to some of the other foods that we've used. Then going to talk about introducing a new food and how I do that, and then how I'm upping the food, and then we're going to talk a bit specifically about Nutramare, the cost of it, its advantages, the claims, etc., and what we're hoping to see. So please do have a watch. If you enjoy the video, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and without further ado, let's crack on. Alright, here we go. My first bag of Nutramare. Gonna open it up, gonna stick it in the bucket. So this is what will be in my old Cuttlewood bucket for now. It's just a better way of storing it, keep it fresh. Yeah, so let's actually see if anything about this stuff is true. Not one normally gets carried away with hype, but everything on this one seems to make sense. Let's actually see if it does what it says it does. This is all based on being the top quality LT fish meal, which is basically human grade from my understanding. So yeah, let's see if we can get what we was getting out of sake. Looking for the body shape more than anything else. So anyway, let's put this in. Alright, first impressions are pretty good, to be fair. It has got a sake type feel to it. Now I know that sounds ridiculous, but also looks like dust is at a minimum. Let's pour it in a bucket and see what the dust is like. Right, you get your full 10 kilos as well. It's pretty good. No dust at all. Now I've said it before, many foods that I've looked at, I think that's always a pretty good sign. The foods that I don't get dust on tend to perform the best. So I don't know why that is. I'm not no scientist. But yeah, initial impressions, so far so good. Right, now for the money test. Let's get some food in. Right, so here we go. We got me a cup. We've measured out to 100 grams. I'm just going to give 50 each side. Just a couple of things for when you're swapping food. Don't just stop feeding your old food if you're already on one, or if you're coming out of winter, etc., and throw the new one in. Same as us. You go to Turkey or to Egypt or somewhere else in the world, and you stop having your water and food supply, you start eating something else, you're going to get an upset stomach. The same applies to the fish, so you need to bring it in gently. Now 50 grams each side is not a lot of food. These have already been fed on their current food, which is the end of the winter stuff that I was using to bring the filters back up. So this is a mix in with that. So we're going to start 50 grams each side, just let them all get some flavour. Why don't I mix this in with the other food when I feed it? I want to make sure every single one of them gets a little bit. You leave more to chance and potluck if you've got them all attacking the same area of foods. One always gets more than the other, so I do it this way. So I'll do 50 grams on this feed, and then I'll see how the waste is, etc., and then I'll start upping that over the coming days just a couple of days, 5 days, that's all you need, just to help drop it in. It'll also stop you getting an initial horrendous waste outburst. So without further ado, let's get half of this in. Go. So far so good. I said it is a piddly amount for these. And then a decent amount for them to get their teeth into and see how we get on. And then I can also see how badly the nexus goes up, damn thing. Right, I'll leave it there, that's the first feed. And we'll catch up on some of the others. We're our week in, and this is now what each side are getting. Next job is to start increasing the next job is to start increasing the frequency of the feed. So I'm up to every 2 hours at the minute. I'll start bringing that to every hour and just monitor how much gets eaten and go from there. But so far, so good. No issues. Other foods I've had problems by now with waste and water being absolutely foul. So it's a good start. Obviously, can't tell you it does everything it says it should do, but yeah, you can see the quality of it is definitely giving it a fighting chance, I think. So fingers crossed, because I do really want this to work because of the price of it compared to sake. So I think that's what I've got to remember here. Alright, so here we are, the end of my first bucket, the first 10 kilos. So I'm up to this each side now, as we said. Let's get this in, let you see the feeds as they happen. The appetite is definitely there for it, which is good. Right, let's do the other side. See, we know because I weighed this what this is full up. It's 100 grams every feed. So here we go. Bon appetit. Some of the bigger ones are always a little bit slower. Like I said, they're all loving it. All getting a good mix of it. Demi boy is looking fantastic. Not bad for £30 toso. Second boil of today. This is the third rinser as well. Look how much crap is still coming out. Oh, I wouldn't mind doing this even once a day, probably max. Once a week's fine. I can't do this anymore. Okay, so let's talk cost. Nutramare currently retails for £85 for 10 kilos, direct via Nutramare. I'm not aware of any other third party you can get it from in the UK. So £85 for 10 kilos, we're talking £8.50 a kilo. Put this against sake. Now sake price can vary depending on where you are, depending on who's taking the bigger cut, but you're looking at anywhere from sort of 190, 200 quid up to, I mean, I've seen some ludicrous prices for growth of 260, normally around 220 mark. So you're looking at anywhere realistically, if you shop around, between 13 and 15 pound per kilo, which is a big difference. Add into that fact that the claims for Nutramare, and I hasten to add claims because I haven't got any physical proof of this at the moment, is that you only need to feed 60% of what you normally would because of the quality of the ingredients. And basically what this means is that the conversion ratio of the food is better than the sake. So more of the good stuff, the protein, etc., is being absorbed the fat and being used by the fish to grow. This is why if you feed the same amount as you would with sake akari or another food, you are going to get more waste because the fish isn't able to absorb it. And that's the claim. So that's what we're going to see over the coming months. The second part of this is when you then consider you've got other foods out there like takazumi, you're still looking at £10 for a kilo. Obviously all of these are plus delivery, plus postage, depending on who you go with, some of those prices vary, but the actual cost of the food itself is a lot cheaper. So from my point of view, this is why I am trying it. It is, in my view, greatly needed in this market. We need a shake-up, we need some competition. Sake is ridiculously expensive. I love the food, don't get me wrong, I think the food is absolutely top drawer, but the curiosity and the interest of finding something that is potentially as good, close to it, as sake akari, but you know, a lot less in terms of price per kilo of the price, it's too good to pass up on. So I really hope it does work. That's my vested interest, if you like, is that I'm desperate for it to work, because I'm desperate for us to get access to a higher end food that's a lot cheaper than sake akari. But time will tell. As I said, first thoughts, pretty good so far. I haven't had an issue with the waste. I'm now up to a kilo a day. Last season on the sake akari I was at 1.2 kilos a day, and I couldn't get past that towards the end of the season, because obviously the amount of fish I've got, they're growing, they're getting bigger, they're producing more waste, etc. So that's where I've kind of been at with that. So to be there already, this is pretty good. So I haven't seen a drastic upturn in waste. I will add the caveat in, before this, for winter I was using Coppin's food and the waste was dreadful. So I've taken a step back towards good waste, and it's pleased me. But again, comparison to sake, I'm not getting that oil slick on top of the water, even when the pellets like today are sitting here, because I've got my head underneath their cover. I'm not getting that oil slick. I'm not getting a horrendous amount of breakdown in the waste. So I think the thing you need to remember when we're talking about this food is it is based on the quality of its ingredients. It uses LT71 fish meal, which again, I said before, I'm no food scientist, but as far as I'm aware, this is what basically is food grade fish meal, and that is the standard of the ingredients. I think I made a comment to Manuel on the group about eating it, and he said you could eat it, it's fit for human consumption in that respect. Although I'm not suggesting you go and buy a box for your cereal or your dinner or whatever. But yeah, at £8.50 a kilo, it's worth a go, it's worth a pump, whatever you're feeding this year, I'd suggest. If it does turn out to be all marketing hype and BS, which I don't believe, if I'm perfectly honest, I think there's too many people who, from what I've seen, are involved in this, and especially the guys bringing it over, Dan, too involved in his koi, knows too much about them, has some very high quality pieces, very high quality setups, etc., and know what they're doing. So for me, you always look at the results people are getting, not necessarily whether you like the person or the, you know, what they talk about. It's look at the results, and there are some fantastic results there. And Dan does seem to be a top guy as well in terms of offering support, which is quite nice in terms of when you're asking questions about this food. I've asked a couple of questions. They're very open about what's in it, what they're doing with it, and yeah, what the plans are. So for me, it's worth a go. I think if we don't support something like this and give it a go, then we're never going to get an alternative. You don't ask, you don't get, and we're never going to get that, you know, that decent competition for sake akari and an alternative in the market, which I, as I said many times before, so desperately want. So there we go. I hope you found it useful, guys, as ever. If you have, please do hit that like and subscribe, and until next time, I'll catch you soon. Take care.